Okay, so just in order to help everybody a little bit more, I'm making a video answer key of the study guide. The study guide will be very similar to the test, so please make sure if you don't understand something, you watch this or email me or do a Google Hangout with me to get some help. Okay, so question 1, write an equation in slope-intercept form that passes through -3, 5 and 3, 1. So we want to make sure we're paying attention to the form. This says slope-intercept, so question 1 will be in y equals mx plus b form. So my first step is to calculate the slope. So I'm going to label my points x1, y1, x2, y2. My first step is to put the 2 points into the slope formula. y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So I do that, which would be 1 minus 5 divided by 3 minus a -3, so that's going to become a plus. 1 minus 5 is -4. 3 plus 3 is 6. I'm going to make that -2/3. I'm going to reduce that fraction, -4/6 to -2/3. My next step, once I do that, is to pick 1 point and plug it into y equals mx plus b. Oh, it's kind of light. Okay, y equals mx plus b. So my m that I just found was -2/3. I'm going to pick 1 point to use for my b. I'm going to use 3 and 1 because they're positive. 3 is my x, 1 is my y. So I get 1 equals -2/3 times 3 plus b. I'm going to multiply -2/3 times 3. That gives me -2. To solve for b, since it's negative, I add 2. I do the opposite. My b is 3. So I'm going to use my 2 answers and make my equation. Y equals -2/3 x plus 3. Y equals -2/3 x plus 3. So that is your answer for question 1. For question 2, you are doing the same thing, same exact thing. So my first step is to find the slope. So I label them x1, y1, x2, y2. I calculate my slope, 14 minus -10. My 2 negatives change to plus, divided by 4 minus -2. So I get 24. 14 plus 10 is 24. 4 plus 2 is 6. 24 divided by 6 is 4. I pick 1 point. I'm going to use 414. I'm going to plug everything into y equals mx plus b. So 14 is my y. I got that from up here. My m, we'll do that in green. My m was 4. My x over here is +4. I'm doing 4 times 4, which is 16. I keep everything else. It's a +16. So I minus 16 from both sides. 14 minus 16 is -2. So my final answer is y equals 4x minus 2. Y equals 4x minus 2. I'm going to erase this other stuff so you don't get confused. And let's look at question 3. For question 3, I am still in slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, but now instead of giving you 2 points, I'm only getting 1 point and the slope. So I kind of get to skip step 1 because I already know my slope, my m is -2. Instead of picking a point, I only have 1 point to choose from, 4 and -6. So -6 is my y, 4 is my x. I'm solving for b. -2 times a +4 is a -8. To solve for b, the opposite of a -8, I'm adding 8, adding 8. -6 plus 8 is 2. My b is 2. So my final answer, y equals -2x. Where did I get that? From the problem. -2x plus 2. -2x plus 2. All right, so those are the first three. And I'm going to go ahead and move to 4 and 5. Okay, so for question 4, very similar to question 3. The slope is 4. Here's my point, my x and y. I'm still in slope-intercept form. So I'm still in y equals mx plus b. I plug everything in. Negative 11 is my y. 4 was my m. 3 was my x plus b. 4 times 3 is 12. It's a positive 12. I do the opposite. I subtract. Negative 11 minus 12 is negative 23. My final answer is y equals 4x minus 23. That's just an equal sign. Equals, not a negative. We will erase this. And the last question on this page, question 5, write an equation for a line with a slope of negative 7. That means that m is negative 7. M is always slope. A y-intercept, that is b at 3. So this is great. They're telling me my m. They're telling me my b. All I have to do is drop in those numbers. So y equals, for m, I'm putting negative 7. For b, I'm putting 3. Where did I get those numbers from? From the problem. They were given to me in the problem. So here are all of your answers for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.